Hey everybody, it's Marco from Analog Things, and today we're going to talk about actually my favorite cameras of the last year, or that I actually use at the moment. And we're going to take a look at all the cameras. I just give you a little overview, and at the end we're going to take a look which is my favorite and which I'm using on regular basis at the moment, and which are just standing on the shelf. So we are talking about instant cameras, especially which are my favorite by now, like early 2019. The last years have actually been pretty busy in camera development when it comes to instant cameras. Fuji has done a lot, Polaroid Richness brought out some new cameras, and also there's Mint on the market that also brings out cameras. And then there's some Kickstarter projects that also start producing cameras. But let's start with the bad things that happened in developing and like in production and cameras that came out that year. The worst camera I had in my hands in the last year was the Charlie Lux camera. It's just a paper cardboard box that doesn't work. A lot of people funded it on Kickstarter and they were really disappointed with the quality, and I myself was too. So some of you may have seen my video where I talk about the camera that I wanted to build a bag for the Mamiya, for the RB67. Unfortunately, I kind of ran into the problem that I need a lot of 3D prints and fine details, and I didn't manage to produce that bag by now. If somebody is interested, I can share the plans of what I've done so far. It works, it slides in and it holds there. You just need a backlit and then you should be fine actually, but it's super hard to print in one part, and it should be made out of metal because fitting the Mamiya to that back is pretty hard. So yeah, Charlie Lux was a really big disappointment. There was a new Kickstarter campaign also for Instax mini camera that was the plasticky look retro camera. I also think that's gonna be a horrible campaign because you kind of have to manually crank again the film out, which is not that good. Like, you don't get that good results, and like just a knob to screw, that can screw up a lot. Then we have a lot of other cameras manufacturers that do quite a good job at the moment. I had the Fuji SQ6 in my hands. I don't have it here anymore because I actually returned it. I was really disappointed with that camera. I had some really high hopes for that camera, and it didn't even reach one of the expectations I had for that camera. Most of my shots were overexposed. I don't know why, but a lot of people in the comments wrote that they have the same problem. A lot of their shots are actually overexposed. And then I had the problem that you can't combine modes, which is like, you give the user the great chance of having a macro mode and a double exposure and everything, but then you don't give them the chance to combine a macro and double exposure. That was really disappointing. And then there came the biggest point. I didn't have focus on infinity. Like, shooting out of the building, like 10 meters was still fine, but after 10 meters it started to get blurry again, and that was on landscape mode. I mean, which landscape is 10 meters and then there's blurry? Doesn't work like that. So Fuji, I hope you step up the game on that camera, because the SQ6 in my opinion was like, it was a great idea, the design is amazing, the technology is really cool, but you messed up on some really small parts. So if you want to shoot Instax square format, I would highly recommend getting the Lomo Instant Square camera. I have it for 1 year now and I'm kind of like happy with it. It works, it has the remote control for example, which is really funny if you take selfies with your friend, or like I do with my girlfriend at the moment. And like, it has a lot of cool modes. You can combine double exposure and underexposure and overexposure, stuff like that. So it gives you the chances that I actually was thinking the SQ6 could deliver the same, but it didn't. And that's why SQ6 is thumbs down for me. But Lomo Instant Square still thumbs up. Like that camera, the price is okay, but it's still a really good choice if you want the Instax Square camera. And then there was Polaroid Richness. I think last year they came out with a little bit longer than last year. They came out with the One Step 2, which was amazing design, like the retro look of a Polaroid camera and the new technology. It could take I-type film, so you saved on the battery life. It was a really cool camera, but it has some problems. The viewfinder, it was really hard to do the right framing for that camera. If you're not experienced with these cameras, you always messed up, and if you wanted to have some like really fine kind of alignment, you were completely screwed. That wasn't possible at all with that camera. But they made a new version of the camera, and that one has a viewfinder, like the updated viewfinder. That camera is pretty good, but then they came out with the One Step Plus, that's this year. And that camera combines the old Impossible i1 camera, the technology of that camera, with the One Step Plus, and that was actually a pretty good move. To be honest, I really enjoyed using that camera. I didn't have the best opinion about the camera because you have to control it over your phone to give you all the setting options. I still have in mind like what will be in the future, and it's kind of hard to use the camera while you are having your phone in one hand and then shooting with the other hand. It's kind of hard, but on the other hand, that camera really does a good job. The lens is still not made out of glass. The manual functions you get over the phone app and the settings and everything, they're really good. Like the double exposure, multi-exposure, you can do all that stuff and you can get some really cool results. You see the exposures in there, it's like cool camera, the functions on the phone, the app is working pretty good. I would do some more like updates on it, but otherwise it's fine. The only thoughts I have in my mind is like what will happen in the future with that camera. Will the app be developed further on or will it die in the future? I don't know, like I guess they are already working on a new camera for the future to bring out and I'm pretty sure that will have the same function, so I hope that will keep the app living really long. So this was the Polaroid camera. And then in fall I got a really cool camera and that was this one here. And that's kind of the favorite camera I got this year, I have to be honest, because it's just like amazing. The quality is really good and the images I can take with this camera are amazing. That's the Mint RF70. It's a manual camera, or you have all the manual options of a camera that shoots Instax wide. And the images are just awesome. Like, I really love that camera. It gives like such great results. Sharpness is on point, everything is there. You have ND filters, because Instax film is really light sensitive, so you get the ND filters to the camera. And yes, I know it's pretty damn expensive compared to other instant cameras, but it's aimed for the market of the more enthusiast photographer, of the professional instant photographer. And compared to any analog camera that's out there that is really good in quality and shoots such a large format, the price is pretty much the same. Like buying a good 4x5 camera with a lens, you're actually on the same price if you buy a really good one. So I got a really early prototype of that camera, or not, I got early model of the camera. But I think they're kind of getting there where the production line is like fine-tuned now, and they're starting to ship the cameras out. And if you want one of them, I can just highly recommend them. You will have a lot of fun and the camera does a great job. Like, haven't been disappointed by it so far. And then later on, there came the camera that will actually be like my most used part, which is not a camera, it's just a back actually, it's just a processor. And you have to tinker a little bit, and that's this one here. So that's the Resivote, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Instant Lab mod to use it on the Mamiya Press or on your Mamiya Universal camera, or with the P adapter you can also use it on your RB67. And to be honest, like I took some images with that camera. I can show you one that should be safe. Ooh. You still have the black frames here on the RB67. I can't wait to get my hands on the Universal, but that camera just takes such awesome images. I'm just astounded by the quality, like, because I can actually have a really good lens, I can shoot manual, I can use my strobes, I can have everything and put it out on Polaroid film, which is just awesome, because like I'm missing all these controls. Yes, there's one camera coming after this, which is still like my all-time favorite. This is the new camera to go if I do some conceptual work, if I do portraits, if I do something in the studio, or like even if I have planned shooting outside, I will still like go for that camera. The Mamiya Universal or Press are huge, and I can't wait to get mine back, to use that camera back on that camera and have the whole frame covered. But this adapter changes a lot for me. Like, it just steps up the quality of my images a lot more, and I have a lot more control over everything. So this is my really like big thing this year, next to the RF70. These two actually both are Asian productions. These are the game players for me this year. The One Step Plus was really nice and it has some cool functions, but both of them are like game changers for me. I know it's not the end consumer cameras, it's more of the advanced, but to be honest, I think I'm on an advanced level. I have a lot of standard Polaroid cameras. All the shelf here back here. And oops, there's another one here. These are all Polaroid cameras, so I have a lot of them and I know how to use them. But I want to step up that game. I want to have better quality. I want to have more control. I want to have that image that I have in my mind, that I have a plan for that shooting. I want to have that on print or like paper or film, whatever you want to call it. And that works out with these cameras a lot better than with all the other cameras. And then there's like the all-time player, the SX70. But this SX70 is actually an open SX70 mod. And if you haven't seen that, that's an amazing project. Joaquin from Madrid does that project where he mods, changes the PCB of the SX70. And he's now looking for beta testers, so if you're interested, head over to his site. I think he needs technical people that know a lot about that stuff and that are able to change the camera, but check out OpenSX70, I will link it in the description below. See if you can help them actually, and if you're into that electronic stuff and everything, I'm pretty sure he's happy to get every help he can. Do these cameras go in a rank? Or like, what do I think? Like, which is my absolute favorite camera by now? Actually, this one here. It's not a camera, it's just a processing unit, it's an Instant Lab processing film, but this gives me the format of Polaroid film, original Polaroid film, and outputs onto that. And that's like just my favorite camera right now. After it, I still have these two here. I can't compare them because that's Instax wide and that's Polaroid format, so they're a little bit different, but both are amazing cameras. Okay, so let's start off. Which level are you on photography? Do you even have an instant camera? If you don't, and you just want to start out, there's different versions. Version number 1 would be going for Instax. And for Instax, I would also recommend going for Instax Square, maybe the Lomo Square camera, or the new Diana, but the new Diana is a really experimental camera and you have to kind of like the idea of experimenting a lot and trying stuff, and you have the chance of changeable lenses, but the vignetting is horrible on the Diana, I have to say that, but every Diana has that. The 1 Step Plus is actually pretty awesome. If you have a few more bucks and you don't want to, like, I would always recommend buying the 1 Step Plus over the 1 Step 2. Just these functions, if you have, like, if you develop further in instant photography, you will want to have some manual control, or you will want to do double exposure, stuff like that. And the 1 Step Plus gives you all that, plus the portrait lens, which is also pretty cool, so you can get a little bit closer. But on sharpness, there's a big difference between the 1 Step Plus and the SX70. So the SX70 is still an amazing camera if you just want to shoot auto exposure and don't need fancy other stuff. You can get SX70s pretty cheap at the moment. I got, like, last year in fall, I got 3 cameras for under 100 euros, pretty fair price. All of them worked great, no problem. If you're a more advanced user, I would highly recommend taking a more in-depth look on the RF70 if you want to shoot Instax film, which is a little bit cheaper, clearer, has some different colors. Or take a look at the Resivote back, which is also pretty amazing. I know they're working on different backs for other medium format cameras, and they're doing a great job. The quality of their build is pretty good. They're doing some all metal stuff now, and yeah, there will be a new video coming up with another product of them pretty soon. So yeah, and that's actually the cameras I have in my mind now. The Diana, more experimental camera, it's standing back there. I haven't used it too much because I can't get over that vignetting, and like that Kodak cluck style is also not the way to go for me for instant shooting. If you have any questions about the cameras or which camera you want to get, drop in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, ideas or anything, I'm also happy to know that. If you liked that video, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. If you want to see more content, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!